يشرف برعاية خادم الحرمين الشريفين حفظه الله تتويج الجهود المبنية في مجالات حماية البيئة. وإذا بيت لي أن أتقدم بخالص الشكر والعرفان للمملكة العربية السعودية حكومة المشاركة باستضافتها الكريمة لهذا المنتدى الدولي. كما يشرفني وجودي بين المشاركين في المنتدى من أبناء ورجوع الوطن العربي وشركاء التنمية من مختلف دول العالم، متمنيا النجاح والتوفيق لما فيه الخير لصالح الأمة العربية وشعوب العالم. ومع بدء فعاليات المنتدى تبدأ مرحلة جديدة نستثمر فيها وجود النهار، ونبدأ معا خلق رؤية تتفق مع المرحلة الجديدة والتطورات على مستوى الإقليمي والدولي لتحقيق الأهداف التي نسعى إليها لصالح شعوبنا، ومنها على سبيل المثال وليس الحصر بناء القدرات البشرية، تحقيق النجاح بالاستفادة من التجارب السابقة، تطوير الشراكات العربية، إدارة رشيدة للموارد الطبيعية، الاستفادة من تبادل التكنولوجيا الحديثة. وبعد مضي ما يزيد عن 20 عاما على العمل البيئي المؤسسي في بلادنا العربية، والتي شهدت إرساء الهياكل المؤسسية واعتماد القوانين والتشريعات البيئية في وطننا العربي، فكان من الضروري أن يتم التأكيد على أهمية استثمار رأس المال البشري باعتباره الأساس لتحقيق التقدم البيئي الذي يمثل حجر الزاوية لتحقيق التنمية
رئيس الهيئة العامة للطيران المدني بمملكة البحرين له كلمة في هذا المنتدى.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. صاحب السمو الملكي الأمير تركي بن ناصر بن عبد العزيز آل سعود، رئيس العام للهيئة العامة للأرصاد، أصحاب السمو الأمراء، أصحاب المعالي، أصحاب السمو الحضور، إنه لشرف عظيم أن نكون على هذه الأرض الطيبة في المملكة العربية السعودية، وأنه كان شرفا عظيما لنا يا صاحب السمو الملكي بتكرمكم للدعوة لمؤتمر الأرصاد الجوية الأول للدول العربية، والذي يتماشى تماما مع البيئة والتنمية. الأرصاد والمناخ والتنمية والبيئة لهم روابط كثيرة يا صاحب السمو كما تعلمون، وكان لسموكم الجهد الكبير في جمع جميع الإخوان من وزراء الدول العربية على هذه الأرض الطيبة. إن التنمية تحتاج إلى بيئة يمكن أن تستمر، فالبيئة الطيبة والبيئة النظيفة هي التنمية المستدامة للمواطن، وأن اهتمام سموكم بهذه التنمية والبيئة له دليل على ما تصلون إليه لنمو الشعوب في أطراف هذه القارة الواسعة من الأرض. لقد بدأ التصحر يأخذ مجراه على الأراضي الكبيرة والشاسعة في منطقتنا العربية، وكان لابد من التحرك والنظر في هذه الأمور. ولقد كان اجتماعنا صباح اليوم وبحضور سموكم حفظكم الله هو الدليل الكبير والواقع والملموس لما هي المتطلبات المستقبلية للتعامل مع هذه الأمور، وذلك لجعل الأرض الطيبة بيئة مستدامة وحضارية للمواطن على جميع أركانها في المعمورة العربية. كان هناك اتخاذ قرارات بمبادرة طيبة من سموكم حفظكم الله بأن تجتمع الدول العربية للبيئة والتنمية المستدامة في وطننا العربي وفي العالم، ونحن نحتفل على هذه الأرض الطيبة اليوم كذلك اليوم العالمي للأرصاد، وبحضور الأمين العام للمنظمة العالمية للأرصاد الجوية، له دليل كبير على اهتمام سموكم والمملكة العربية السعودية حكومة وشعبا لما هذا الأمر من أهمية كبرى من هذا المنطلق. صاحب السمو، إن تشريفكم لنا صباح اليوم ودعمكم المستمر من حكومة المملكة العربية السعودية للإخوان في الدول العربية عن التنمية المستدامة وهذا المنتدى الكريم له خطوة جبارة نرجو أن نشكركم عليها، فتقبل منا الشكر والثناء يا صاحب السمو لما قمتم به من هذا المجهود الكبير في حياتكم، والله يوفقكم جميعا إن شاء الله لما فيه خير الأمة والصحة والعافية. حفظنا الله جميعا وحفظ المملكة ملكا وشعبا وحكومة، وشكرا لكم يا سيدي صاحب السمو.
أصحاب السمو، أصحاب المعالي، أصحاب السعادة، الضيوف الكرام، يحتفل العالم اليوم بمناسبة هامة عادة ما تنعكس آثارها على المجتمعات في العالم. اليوم الأحد مناخيا تستحق والماء لتوليد الطاقة في المستقبل. يشاركنا في افتتاح هذه المناسبة معالي الأمين العام تسليط الضوء على أهمية اليوم العالمي للأرصاد وأهم الظروف المناخية المتعلقة بالمنطقة.
It is an honor for me to join you at this event, and I will be very brief to allow enough time for the 2012 World Meteorological Day thematic video on the day which every year corresponds to the coming into force of the WMO Convention in March 1950. But actually, cooperation goes much beyond that. Before 1950, international cooperation in meteorology was the scope of the International Meteorological Organization, the IMO, a non-governmental association created 139 years ago. But before it became clear from IMO experience that effective international cooperation demanded commitments far more readily achievable in an intergovernmental structure. So 6 decades in the United Nations system have enabled exceptional partnership between WMO and the rest of the United Nations family, of which I could provide many successful examples. But for brevity, I will only record one. In 1976, WMO announced the accumulation of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere and the potential impact on the Earth's climate, for the first time attracting global attention to the issue which the United Nations Secretary General Ban Ki-moon has identified as the defining challenge of our era. Following the first World Climate Conference in 1979, the World Meteorological Organization launched the World Climate Research Program with partners. And in 1988, WMO and UNEP established the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, which you referred to, Your Royal Highness, in your speech, which in 2007 received the prestigious Nobel Peace Prize. In 1990, the Second World Climate Conference in Geneva contributed to launch the Global Climate Observing System, but also the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, which WMO has been supporting from the beginning, since adaptation and mitigation are inseparable pillars of our necessary coordinated response to the climate change challenge. Today, the World Meteorological Organization has 189 members and a mandate in weather, climate and water. However, some of our members are developing countries lacking many essential resources. Natural disasters threaten human security. So, the WMO has devoted major efforts to develop operational early warning systems, which have contributed to the significant decrease in the loss of lives over the last decades, even in frequency and associated economic damages of hydrometeorological hazards during the same period. The IPCC has demonstrated beyond any reasonable doubt that human activities are indeed contributing to the warming of the climate system. And it has identified a number of impacts, such as increases in global average air and ocean temperature, widespread melting of snow and ice, rising sea levels, impact on health, biodiversity, and many others. Following up on the 2 first historic conferences, the Third World Climate Conference in 2009 in Geneva again agreed unanimously on the need for a global framework for climate services. A decision supported in 2011 by the 16th World Meteorological Congress, and which will be the subject of an unprecedented extraordinary World Meteorological Congress later this year in October. In this context, the WMO Executive Council, in which the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is represented, decided that the theme for the 2012 World Meteorological Day would be Powering Our Future with Weather, Climate and Water, to illustrate the benefits offered by weather, climate
and water information to all socio-economic sectors at a time when communities around the world are striving to achieve the UN Millennium Development Goals, to increase their resilience to natural disasters, and to respond to the challenges of climate variability and change. The short video, which we are going to see, highlights that weather, climate, and water have already powered our socio-economic development for many years, but that they must continue to do so in an increasing degree if we are indeed to meet the challenges of sustainable development in a warming climate. In this context, this global framework for climate services will be invaluable to support natural disaster risk reduction, as well as in adapting to the changes to which we are already committed on account of the inertia of the climate system. So I shall keep you waiting no longer, but before I conclude, I would like through you, Your Royal Highness, to thank the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for hosting this very important meeting and the historic conference of ministers in charge of meteorology in the League of Arab States. Thank you very much. Shukran.
World Meteorological Day takes place every year on the 23rd of March. It celebrates the entry into force in 1950 of the convention creating the World Meteorological Organization. The theme for World Meteorological Day 2012 is Powering Our Future with Weather, Climate and Water. This focuses on the critical roles of weather, climate and water in powering a sustainable future for us and for generations to come.
From my perspective, it's quite appropriate that this theme is being developed, both from the point of view of shaping the perspectives of how we can help and we can draw attention to those natural resources to help with some of the future energy strategies the world will be thinking of. But secondly, how important that the fundamental work that we do in the World Meteorological Organization as a community actually improves the lives and addresses the safety and security of citizens of the world.
World Meteorological Day brings into perspective the coming into force of the convention of the World Meteorological Organization. That is the birthday of the World Meteorological Organization, which is an organization of the UN, special organization of the UN, of course, dealing with water, with climate, and with the weather. And so every year we celebrate the coming into force of this, because weather and climate drives many systems in life, including the environment, including sectors that are economic sectors. And so with climate change now, I think that many sectors are impacted, and many governments are looking at accurate weather information to ensure that they plan and prepare the economy, they prepare societal issues, and also they prepare environmental issues. Societal issues because if you have drought and you have famine, you have internal displacement of people. It becomes a societal issue and political issue. If you have a lot of flooding in an area, also it impacts on the economy. And so I think the theme is very relevant, and it brings into feasibility the role of WMO in the climate affair and in the weather affair of the world now. And as we know, issues of climate and weather are now central to many agendas in governments all over the world. And so this brings very well the perspective of WMO in trying to ameliorate disaster risk, disasters, to give accurate weather, and to drive economies of the world.
World Meteorological Day is a very important, I think, event in the calendar of all meteorological organizations and people related to the meteorology and climate services. It also used to spread the awareness about various themes and which are of very great relevance to the society. And as we have discussed earlier also, the most important thing which is going to be in the next decade and to follow is going to be the weather, climate and water. And the linkages between the two. The weather short term, the climate as it is evolving, and the water, how optimally we can use with these inputs, the water and the different sectors of water is going to be there.
Water for a country like Morocco is very, very important. Why? Because, as you know, we are in position that are very, very interested about all the aspects that are linked to the water and water resources. And I think by improving our ability to prepare an information that is useful for those sectors, I think can play a good role in developing and improving all the other kind of activities and economy. You know, agriculture is linked to water. All the industries, some of them are linked to water. And our countries are mainly connected to the status of the water resources. This is why I think the better we are able to provide information, forecast, prediction, and seasonal prediction for those water resource management, and with them the agricultural sector, health sector, tourism sector, I think this can improve our ability to serve them well.
You have everything, but if you don't have water, you're losing one of the basic necessities of life. You can have electricity, but if you don't have water, your life is really messed up, so to speak. So the information on water, the availability of water, and the impact of that on climate and weather and water to society in general, it does play a major role in current life and the future.
Weather, climate, and water is very, very essential for the Bahamas because each one of those elements play a vital role in our development. We are a touristic destination, and the information from WMO has been very, very effective. For example, it gives those tourists on the island a lead time to leave whenever there's the issuance of a warning of a hurricane. That too is costly to the government of the Bahamas because those persons who would have stayed there and helped the tourist industry would now have to cut short their vacation and go back home. But the good thing about it is that we are in the business of protecting lives, so we wouldn't want any lives lost at the expense of us gaining a pecuniary advantage from tourism. So the information is very good and effective for the Bahamas.
Brazil, for example, is a major producer of agricultural products. We even export soy and other commodities. So it's very important, not only for the economy, but also for the internal consumption. So that also we can decrease the poverty that we have in some regions of the country, like in the Northeast. So you can leverage that and bring the less favorable part of the society to a more favorable one.
This draws attention to those in all aspects of society of the significance that the meteorological infrastructure plays in the day-to-day lives of the citizens of my country, Canada. And having a day that draws attention to those things reminds Canadians, as all of those festive holidays do around the world, of the importance of the work that the meteorologists and the climatologists and the hydrologists and the engineers and the technicians and all of those staff members that work in an organization, of how the significance of all their work actually makes a difference to those citizens. And so from WMO's point of view, as being an organization of sort of a community of members, it sort of helps to sort of draw this attention to everyone around the world.
وبهذه المناسبة يتشرف المنتدى بتكريم صاحب السمو الملكي الأمير التركي بن ناصر بن عبد العزيز الرئيس العام للأرصاد وحماية البيئة ورئيس جمعية البيئة السعودية. ومعالي الدكتور مايكل جارو السكرتير العام للمنظمة العالمية للأرصاد الجوية. وسعادة الدكتور سعد بن محمد المحلفي مساعد الرئيس العام لشؤون الأرصاد بالرئاسة العامة للأرصاد وحماية البيئة والممثل الدائم للمملكة بالمنظمة العالمية للأرصاد ورئيس اللجنة العربية الدائمة للأرصاد الجوية. كريم، 10 سنوات مضت تغير فيها وجه العمل البيئي في المملكة، وتحول من نداءات ودعوات إلى صناعة حقيقية، وبنيت شراكة هي اليوم في أفضل حالاتها مع قطاعات حكومية وغيرها من القطاع الخاص. ولا يمكن المرور بمسيرة الإنجاز وما تحقق في أداء العمل البيئي في المملكة دون ذكر أمير البيئة صاحب السمو الملكي الأمير التركي بن ناصر بن عبد العزيز الرئيس العام للأرصاد وحماية البيئة، فالإنجاز يتحدث عن نفسه. مسيرة عطاء من أجل البيئة على تولي سموه الكريم دفة العمل البيئي والأرصادي في المملكة.
احنا عندنا برنامج نجم سوا ونعمل شبكه افضل مما هو
صارمة جدا الآن سيكون هناك مستقبل فعال إن شاء الله ومضي للبيئة في المملكة العربية السعودية.